Hello everyone. Hello everyone. You can see on the screen there are four pages here. Well, there's a home page, there's an about page, there's a future projects, and there's a page. As you can see, the transitions are very smooth. There are no page reloads, and everything happens in a single container. This client-side routing is built with pure JavaScript. In the last video, we built an UI state machine, a reactor that cycles through idle, loading, success, and error. The pattern was store state in a variable, update the DOM when it changes. This video takes the exact same pattern and applies it to a different thing you use every single day in the web pages. When you click the link in React, Next.js, or in Vue, the page changes without a full browser reload. That is a client-side routing. For React Router handles it for you behind the scenes. But behind the React Router, what happens? This what we are building today. That is what happens actually. An array of routes, an current index, and a function that swaps what's visible. This pattern is a foundation of every modern web pages and web apps. Portfolio sites, dashboards, admin panels. If it changes pages without reloadings, it runs exactly with this logic. And today we also add the keyboard navigation too, to switch the arrow keys that switch the pages, which is how every presentation tool from PowerPoint to Keynote to slides work in the backend. First, we will define our routes as an array and write a single updateRoute function that handles everything. Secondly, we will wire up the navigation buttons, previous button, the next button, and the autoplay button. These are the controls. Thirdly, we will add a keyboard arrow function too. When I am now clicking the arrow button, when I click, see, it is working. The pages are shifting. We are also going to add that too. And I am adding this keyboard function because we can work in the browser without the mouse. So yeah, let's build this router today. Welcome to Scratch Start, and today we are going to build a page transition system with the JavaScript. Now let's start with the coding directly, and this is the page I built with the HTML and CSS initial structure. I haven't added any JavaScript part yet, so when I click button, it won't work, it won't move. So let's go directly to the page JavaScript, and let's start with the coding. Initially we have to create an array, like a routes array. That means what are the pages we are going to control. So I'm creating an array variable routes, and I'm going to give the elements as home, about section, and project section, and then finally we have the contact section. And next we are going to add the initial state variables. So we are going to create 3 new variables, like in previous example, like in previous project. I am going to add the current route value as 0 because in initial state it is 0, and then we have the autoplay. Initially it is false, and then we have the interval between the autoplay. So interval is equal to null. Now we are going to write the update UI function. Inside this update UI function, we have to what is the process we followed in the previous task. That is what we are going to do here too. We have to remove the active class from the existing previous function, and we have previous card or the section, and add the active class to the next section. That is what we have to do now. So writing a function called updateRoute, and now initially we have to remove the active classes. Remove the active classes first. We have to do the same thing for the pages, navigation bars, the dots, and the current pages too. So for the active pages we have to remove the classes. So for pages I'm selecting the page, and for each of the page writing a function with the parameter page, and inside that I have to remove the class list. Remove the class active. That's all. And then we have the navigation button. Now for the navigation buttons, the same for each method, write a function with the parameter button, and inside each button we have to remove the class. Button class list, remove the active class. And next for the dots, the browser, you can see there are dots here. So for the dots also there is class and other things. So now we have to remove for the dots. Now select the dots, same for each method, write a function with the parameter dot, and the same, remove the class list active from the dot. That's all. Now we have to activate the current page. So to activate the current page, I'm using the selector method. Document get element by id. This id can be get from the routes arrays current element, that is the current route. And then we have to add the class list here. Class list add classes active, and then we have the navigation buttons too. For the navigation buttons, it should be from the current route. Add the same class list active. I will just copy, and then finally for the dots, with the same current route, add the class list active. So the update Vue function is now finished. Now for the next page button now, we will add the button we will first write the function, and then we will add this functionality when we select the buttons using add event listeners. For the next page, I'm writing a function called next page. Inside that we have to shift from 0 to 1. For example, you take the array 0 to 1, so it should be increment by 1. I have explained this in the previous video too, but I am explaining it here too. Then current route added with 1, and if the current route's value is greater than or equal to length of the roots array, we have to declare the current route as 0. That's 0. Then we have to include the update wave function too. That means the update route function. That's all. Now we have the previous page button. For the previous page, the same thing, but exact on the opposite direction. For the previous page function, the current route should be decremented. So minus minus, and then using the same if logic, if current route is less than 0, we have to calculate the current route as the negative -1. That means route's length -1 equal to route's length -1, and then we have to update the route. And that's all. Now we have the navigation buttons, that is in the browser. You can see previous button, next button, autoplay button. These buttons for navigation buttons, select the navigation buttons, nav buttons, and then for each of the button, write a function with parameters button and index, because those are the ones that are going to operate. When we click the button, index will change back and forth. So for when we click the button, give an add event listener, the event is click. When it is clicked, write a function, and inside that we have to update the current route. Now current route is equal to the direct index value. Then we have to update the UI, that means update the route, and that's all. Now we have the control buttons. Now there are two control buttons. It is previous button and the previous button, next button, and the autoplay button. In the control button section, we will just write the next button and the previous button. So select the next button, give it an add event listener, event is click, and then we will add the next page function, call it. And then we have the previous button too. The previous button, give it the add event listener, event is click, add the previous page function, we will call it, so it will operate. And now finally we have the autoplay button. Here we have to write the two sections, to start the autoplay and to stop the autoplay. So there are two functions here. So function start autoplay, this is to start the movement. So start autoplay, inside that I am creating a new variable called interval, that is we have to update the interval. Using set interval method, I am writing a function, and this function will directly call the next page function. With I have given the set interval method, so I am giving 2.5 seconds, so 2500 milliseconds. That's all. Next we have to stop function to stop the autoplay. Function stop autoplay. To stop the autoplay, I am using the clear interval method and using the interval variable. So that's all. Next we have final keyboard controls, and I have also need to add another thing. We have the auto button too. Inside the auto button we have to include these two functions, only then it will function operate. So selecting the auto button and giving it an add event listener. Event is click. Inside that I am writing the function. So initial at stage for the first section, I am assuming autoplay is not equal to autoplay. That means autoplay is not there. Now I am going to write the logic as if autoplay is happening, then the auto button's text should change the text content to stop auto, and then we have to include the function stop autoplay, and then the alternate reality, that means the second situation, else we have to change the auto button's text content to autoplay, and then we have to call this stop autoplay function. That's all. Now we will write the keyboard support, that means the keyboard function. When we click the left arrow, it should go to the previous button. When we click the right arrow, it should move to the next page. So I am selecting the whole document, that is the whole page here, and giving it an add event listener. The event is key down. Key down, that means if the key is pressed, that is the meaning here. Key down. I'm writing a function with that key down event as a parameter, and writing an if operation. If event.key is equal to arrow right, that is the right arrow. If there is a right arrow, we have to operate the next page function, and then then the same thing with the left key. If event.key is equal to arrow left, we have to include the previous page function. So that's all. Now we have written all the sections. Now we have to initialize the whole UI now. So we have to call the updateRoute function. So all the functions and button controls, everything are written now. So let's go to the browser and clicking reload. I click next, so it is shifting. Next button is working, and when I click previous, it is in the first page. It should go straight to the contact section now. Previous is going straight to the contact section, that is current index, the length of the array -1. That is what it happening here. So when I click autoplay, it should activate the next button. So when I click next here, it should go to the home button, home section. Started auto, and the text content has changed to stop auto. See, it is changing. Now when I click the stop auto, it should change the text content to start auto. See, autoplay. So the page is working. This is what exactly happens in the routers, that means including the routers, React routers for example, in web pages, in whatever the framework or libraries you use. So this is how they operate in the backend. When you use in a real world situations, you will just write a simple line, but without understanding what is happening behind that exact line you are writing, you won't learn anything or you won't understand anything. Even if there is a bug in the code, you won't be able to solve it at like tense situations. So that is why I am learning this. Hope this helps you too. So that is it for today, and I will meet you guys in the next session. Please don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and I will meet you guys in the next session with another video. Thank you. Have a nice day.